The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com. And now it's time for the Mr. Nailsin Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I'm taping a segment here with Pat Dixon after we did some shows. We taped Late as Fuck at nyccrimereport.locals.com. You can check that out. People tend to seem to like it. You know, we get comments and whatnot and requests and what have you. Well, basically the premise of the show is that it's recorded very late at night and we bullshit about stuff. That's about it. There are some recurring features. There's been Elvis, of course, and Nosferatu has become a favorite guest and whatnot. And then, of course, New York City Crime Report itself, the proper New York City Crime Report over at censored.tv. We taped a very good show recently, and it'll be on there shortly, I promise. And you can go to censored.tv and subscribe to watch those. And be sure to use the promo code PAT, P-A-T. And you're going to want to use that to give yourself a discount. And then enjoy New York City Crime Report and the other programs provided by Gavin McGinnis's censored.tv. And then there's this show, the Mr. Nailsin Show. Well, one of the things, another show that Pat does is Indefensible over at the Shuli Network. And on occasion, I pop in on that one as well. And on occasion also with the lovely Jane showing up and all that. And then one of the chats in there suggested Werewolf Detective. I'm not sure exactly what inspired it, but boy, oh boy, has it been on my mind since. And there's been a lot of artwork done to it by myself and others, utilizing AI and all that stuff. And I don't know, Pat, what do you think? You think we ought to pursue that?
I don't see how we can not.
Right.
You know, it's such a great well, I don't know what to go like a combination of reaches across a couple of different genres, and that's what are those the ideas that usually end up kind of working out big time. Like I can't think of any offhand, but it just seems as if like when you take you've got that old fashioned kind of the monster side of it, and then put that together with the detective side. I'm sure that must have been done at some point in some way, but I don't know about a werewolf detective.
Yeah, because I remember like in the 80s there was this cheap werewolf show about this guy who becomes a werewolf, but it was kind of like, it reminded me of the Incredible Hulk, where he keeps turning into the wolf and solves crimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, hell, that's
so it's pretty much, he's a man on the run like the Hulk or the Fugitive, but but each town he goes to, he solves. There's a girl in trouble, he takes care of it. He eats the criminal.
Yeah, he ain't got to worry about him no more.
Nah.
He's wolf poop now.
Yeah, I left him in the woods somewhere. You wouldn't recognize him today.
Yeah, I decorated the whole scene. I think though
it's fertilizer, it'll do some good.
that blood makes the grass grow. I think that that's the difference, is that he wanders like that. This one doesn't wander. He wears clothes.
Right.
He appears as a werewolf everywhere he goes, and it's also an evolution of the world, I think, that we live in which the monsters are no longer, they don't freak anybody out anymore.
Right. People got used to them.
Yeah. We've come to grips with the old.
Right. It's like the immigration
paradigm.
Story, they come in, everybody's paranoid and mistrusting, and that stays a lot.
Like, man, these guys sure can rake some leaves.
Well, there's some positives here.
And you start going, well, if they rake leaves, shouldn't we let them vote? But no, not necessarily, I think too that the idea of these monsters walking around more or less in plain sight and having to take other jobs besides just being a monster, which somehow they were making a living doing before, I guess. I mean, Dr. Jekyll was a doctor.
Well, he was a physician. Yeah, he was a doctor, so he had that to fall
So
back
he
on.
already had that, you know.
Yeah.
And but the werewolf, you know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, I mean, did he ever was he gainfully employed in some other way? And then
In his human form, he probably was, but
probably though, you know,
I
we
mean,
did it.
he probably could had a hard time holding a job because he was up all night being a wolf, and then his human side wakes up and he's just worn out.
Yeah, and so I think that what we may have decided for this werewolf is that he, at some point, undergoes the transformation, and maybe due to some antibiotics he's taking or something,
Right.
but he doesn't go back.
Yeah, he tried to fix it, and all it did was make it permanent.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Trying
so
to get
he's
out
like,
of this werewolf deal, and
I'm just a hairy guy who has an incredible sense of smell,
mm.
which
And
works for his new profession.
yeah, his line of work, yeah, to be a
Yeah.
detective. So he's kind of like not done too bad of a job. Of course, he also plays piano, I think, in like
Yeah, at the bar, Nosferatu's bar.
yeah, kind of recreational, you know, as
Yeah.
much as anything. Yeah, Nosferatu running a poker game out of the back room, and where you know, I guess Dr. Jekyll and you know,
Yeah, he'd show up every now and then.
sometimes it's him, sometimes it's Hyde. You don't
When it's
know.
Hyde, yeah, everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh fuck, he always bluffs like crazy when he's Hyde, you know, and just starts to raking the chips when he didn't win them and stuff. Like, dude, get him out of here. It's just like a drunk.
Now the bouncer would have to be the Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
He just grabs Hyde and throws him out
Yeah.
the door.
But he's also a player though, you know, like he'll sit and play, but you know, he's gonna hop up and yeah, take care of business if need be. You know, they're all looking at him and then looking at Hyde and looking back at Frankenstein.
Which one do you piss off? Because when you beat him, you're trying to tear up the whole place.
Well,
Nosferatu's gonna get mad.
Well, Frankenstein's kind of like you know, not too quick on the uptake, you know.
Yeah,
So they're trying to sort of suggest like take care of this, will you? You know, like they don't like, and he's just like, sitting there like you know having a cigar. He seems like he'd be one of those fucking big fat cigar smokers, you know. Like it's a $9 Cuban, beautiful.
It covers up the smell of the electricity burns,
and then he just crushes it in his hand. So they're like,
it eats it.
What an idiot!
No, Frank, no.
And then a couple of regular dudes in there playing cards.
It's like, what are we just walking?
You know, I hate playing with you guys, kind of. No offense, but I haven't quite gotten over this whole monster thing. But like they're green, you know, both Frankenstein, we generally think of him as green, Nosferatu's green. But like back to the jobs, you know, I think they get jobs or they somehow become, you know, employed in ways that were, you know, along the like the werewolf detective, like you said, sense of smell, and he's got this heightened kind of like, I don't know, animal sense or something.
Yeah.
Helps him. I don't know about Nosferatu in the bar exactly what.
This is where he ended up.
He inherited
it. Series of jobs he tried to do, but we kept getting into trouble.
He probably could do a number of things because he's, you know, immortal, right? So he's going to be around forever.
This is just what he's doing for the moment. After a while, it's just like he owns it, but I don't know. He'll let the Hyde and the monster take it.
Imagine he's fucking wealthy, right?
Yeah, he's like
accumulated wealth
from old wealth from Europe and stuff. He was some kind of aristocrat.
Yeah.
And he never really needed it, so he's probably still got a lot of gold around somewhere, because he mostly just went around and drank blood.
Yeah,
but those days
that's changed. That's pretty cheap. Yeah,
so now he's got to just buy it wholesale. Bag.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I see him still biting people, and people just not freaked out by it. They're like, "Oh, did you hear about Anne? She fucking
Don't look
she
at
got
me.
bit. She's undead now, and or what do they call it? She's a vampire.
Well, undead, yeah.
Undead. It's a shame. But
What
you
was
know
she
what?
going to do with her life anyway?
She's handling it well. She's and then like bug chasers, some people are trying to get bit. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out if he should ever even solve any mysteries or crimes or anything. This werewolf
No,
detective.
I think it should, like most of the detective shows, they end up solving murders and crap like that. But Werewolf Detective does what a real private detective does. He follows divorcing couples, either the wife or the husband suspects the other, that kind of thing. He gets involved in that. And then, of course, insurance fraud.
Yeah,
People
sort of like.
claiming bad backs and they're jumping on a trampoline and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, don't they normally have like those jobs are for? I mean, do they contract that out, or do they have in house people for that?
Some of them have in-house people, and some of it I think it is like a contractual thing.
And then maybe
Where
the sleazier the case, the more like if
yeah,
there's some like he broke his dick, fucking somebody or something. Is this a G rated?
yeah. No, I don't think so. I don't think we're capable of G-rated material.
The whole idea is already on its face, kind of spooky.
It's pretty nasty.
I like it though. I like it as one of those, as a comic book style too, like
Yeah. It's the old horror comics of PC or
which got pushed out weirdly, right?
yeah, that was considered to be a part of the communist conspiracy to corrupt our youth, and maybe it was. Worse things have happened since.
I kind of thought that I mean, like in what I do you see a connection?
Oh, between I don't know. I mean, it's the flow of people who there's a connection between the arts and, of course, people who were flirting with communism. Some of them had flat out joined the party and that sort of thing.
Oh,
Certainly the
sure.
movies and all that and television. And so they would see plots and whatnot that would emphasize that sort of thing of like, share and share alike. That's what socialism is. It's not
Yeah,
sharing, it's
but I can't see
theft.
that coming into a monster
But right,
comic too much.
so this guy wrote a book saying, well, it demoralizes the kids because it fascinates them with horrific scenery. And then the other thing on part of the horror comics was crime comics. So it was like you're glorifying criminals. It really didn't. They all got shot and killed in the end.
Yeah, and then they came up with superheroes, the gayest looking stuff.
I know that's what won out the superhero. Even though this guy's name was Dr. Wortham, and he was the main critic, psychologist, what have you, wrote this book about it. And he didn't like the superheroes either. He flat out said, yeah, it's just teaching kids to be gay, especially Batman and Robin.
So oh yeah,
But for
yeah,
some
that's
reason, they decided to go with the crime comics
that is
and
sort
the
of
horror comics and cancel that.
which is odd. Is that why Detective Comics became Batman? Because
No,
he
I
made
think
his
because
debut in
Batman had
Batman.
already taken it. Yeah, Detective Comics was an anthology of crime stories, and then I think it was like the 27th issue that Batman was introduced in that, and then he became so popular and just took it over. So the
Oh,
usual typical crime drama type stuff just faded out. There was a bunch of them in there. There were detectives and cops and stuff, but they just
faded like Barney Google,
yeah,
lost to the
yeah. Barney
past.
Google lost it. Detectives all lost to Batman.
They're all drinking a beer someplace.
Yeah, and
Barney
Nosferatu's
Google.
bar. That fucking Batman. He stole everything.
Barney Google is a character in the thing. He hangs out at the
Yeah, Barney. Yeah, Barney Google. Yeah, talk to old Barney. He knows.
He's trying to sell me refrigerator magnets all the time. I hate that guy.
Yeah.
He's easy money though. He always thinks he's got the winning hand. Barney
don't bring
cheating
up
at cards.
Snuffy or any of that.
No, don't please don't bring up Snuffy.
Don't bring him up. No.
It's Frankenstein. Can you get me Snuffy Smith autograph?
Right. Not at the table. Oh.
Yeah.
So,
Barney Google like a carpetbagger or something. I'll have to investigate that and see what the hell Barney Google was.
yeah, that might have been the problem. Snuffy Smith had the better eye, prospects.
It looked like a prospector, Snuffy Smith.
Yeah.
Snuffy Smith is a piece of shit. He was just an out and out piece of shit. I remember seeing that comic going like, Who the hell is that? Who is this fat woman?
I know.
Is it a woman?
Well,
I mean, I couldn't even tell his wife was a woman. Oh my God. I looked at that and just instantly despised Stuffy Smith when I was a little kid,
Right.
I am never going to read that one. And then, of course, eventually.
And then discovered what he had done to poor Barney Google. Then you realize, and my hatred was justified. He was a piece of shit.
He is a piece of shit. And it was Barney Google and Snuffy Smith for the longest time. And I'm like, where's Barney? He's around. I asked my folks, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, he's not in this one, I guess."
Yeah. Well, it's like, where's Richie Cunningham? I don't know. Hey, there's Fonz.
Where's Chuck Cunningham?
Yeah, no kidding, boy. That's one of those mysterious mysteries. We don't talk about Chuck anymore.
He got all his limbs blown off in Nam. He sits in a hospital and outside Milwaukee someplace.
They still won't acknowledge you.
That motherfucker's in Appleton or something.
He's not a hero. That was the baby killer war.
Well, it was just so much more convenient with the show being called Happy Days that we just avoided that.
He's really going to bring it down.
He doesn't fit the fuck Chuck,
That's pretty much what they went with.
He's a one-dimensional character too. Just like, yeah, I have a basketball.
I know that was.
I have a ball. That was it. I have a ball.
All right, Chuck, go upstairs and never come back. You have a ball.
You go off to school or the war or wherever the fuck it is you go. Canada, we don't care. Jeez. So yeah, another potential character for Werewolf Detective would be like you said, he spends his time and I think maybe even the cases should be just like routine. Like it's not, they don't even become, it's not like Chinatown, where it becomes this whole thing that's linked with the water and LA and all that shit, weird family drama. It's just he just does it. That takes up a few panels, or whatever, and then he goes and the rest of his life is what you're looking at. I mean,
right. He ends up, he's got a case, but most of the bulk of the stories, he has to go to the grocery store. Get some stuff.
He's out of margarine. Always out of margarine.
And then it's like, oh, hey, that's the guy they're looking for. Let me call him. He's over here. Case solved.
This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Felony charge for a man who used airdrop to send naked selfies to strangers. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. An Oklahoma man is facing an indecent exposure charge after allegedly using airdrop to send explicit photos of himself to employees at a real estate firm where he was applying for an apartment. Stayjack Helm, 23, used the airdrop feature on his phone to transmit photos of his private parts and of himself naked in front of a mirror. Investigators described the alleged offense as indecent exposure via digital means. Helm went to a Tulsa realtor to apply for an apartment. An employee of the firm told police that they directed Helm to sit at a computer for the application process. While Helm was filling out the application, two workers received airdrop notifications on their phones. Curious as to what the contents were, they both accepted the airdrop, only to discover the naked selfies. Helm was arrested and booked into the county jail on the felony count. He was later released on $2,000 bond. It does not appear that Helm, who lives with his parents, got the desired apartment.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com. like the sound of my voice? Yes, you know you do. And you want to hear it in the best way possible. So why not get yourself some headphones and accessories from Tweaked Audio? Key features include 8 colors and styles, mic'd and non-mic'd versions, designed to sound great for music and talk. Noise-reducing design with a lifetime warranty. So head over to tweakedaudio.com and use discount code Mr. Nailsin at checkout for 33% off and free worldwide shipping. That's Mr. Nailsin, MRNAILSIN. It's not case sensitive, but it is all one word. That's tweakedaudio.com.
I know what you're thinking. Yes, you're thinking, where in the hell can I get some more Mr. Nailsin stuff? As if there wasn't enough already. Oh, boy, there's so many. Well, anyway, the latest is the NailsinRatings.locals.com. Gee, what's that? Well, it's the Mr. Nailsin Post Locals page. Why is it 2 different titles? Because I screwed up and I can't change the URL, so it's NailsinRatings.locals.com. So anyway, you get a lot of the usual Nailsin stuff there, a lot of links to different videos from my Rumble account and all that good stuff, and Photoshops and what have you, and that's the free stuff. But for a cheap paywall, you get Mr. Nailsin Theater, which is my poor man Mystery Science Theater treatment of old public domain movies, particularly in the sci-fi and horror genre. So you can check those out, and in that version of them, they're cut up into episodes, almost like a TV show. Isn't that great? Yeah, it is. So there's all kinds of cool stuff already there. You can head over there and check it out, plus some cartoons, some stuff I did for Compound Media shows, all that great stuff, all there for you to sign up, join up, and help out your old pal, Mr. Nailsin, while enjoying some great Nailsin stuff for you. So head over to the NailsinRatings.locals.com. That's NailSin ratings.locals, LOCALS.com. Yes, it's just that simple. One night in Gothic City, we find ourselves in the backroom offices of One Finger Pest Control. And within said offices, we see the owner of said Finger Pest Control, Bob Finger, who is in reality Bugman, and his general manager, Smedley Johnson. Oh man, no 2 ways about it. We're still in the red. Yes, it's true. The damages of the divorce settlement still plague us. Divorce? Oh, man, that old mess is way, way back in the rear-view mirror. No. The real problem here is you keep allocating funds to your stupid Bugman calls. No. I mean, first of all, it's not Bugman. It's the Crimson Cicada. No, it ain't no Crimson Cicada or Scarlet Scarab. You're Bugman. You know why? Because you got a big ass bug on your chest. So everybody looks at you and says, yeah, that's Bugman. Well, whatever. No matter how you want to spin it, Smedley, the ultimate cause of my Bugman crusade is the same cause of the end of my marriage. Crime itself. And I was clearly its victim. Oh, man. Crime had taken advantage of my weaknesses. Yeah, your weakness for poontang. Nevertheless, it's a difficult time in the marriage as I felt my needs were not being properly catered to, and, well, this led me to the services of a woman named Holly Jolly.
Oh, wow. This room is amazing.
Well,
check out that bar. Are those diamonds real?
Oh, yeah. Who knew that the business of killing rats and roaches could go so far, you know?
Well, I hate to see a decent bar go to waste, so why don't you sit back and relax while I fix you a drinky poo?
Yeah, sure, okay. Wow, talk about full service. Yeah, this is nice, you know? Just the simplest effort really makes up for
what one's lacking. Yeah, I tell you. My wife is just taking me totally for granted, you know. And look what I get her, you know, all this. And, but when it comes to sex, boy, she just lays there like a sack of shit. Who the hell wants to bang a sack of shit? Not me, that's who.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. Here's your drink. Bottoms up. But you know, to show you even more appreciation, I'm going to do all the work. So just sit back and let me undress you. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get these off. And
Ooh.
let's see what we have here. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, let's get these off too. Oh,
you know, you're something special. This is nice. Maybe I'm getting a little too excited. I don't know. I'm feeling dizzy. Sorry.
Sweet dreams, asshole.
And then everything went black. The only thing I knew of after that was finding myself on the floor, face down, butt naked in a puddle of my own puke. And to the raucous noise of my wife screeching at me.
Bob, wake up, goddammit! I come home to find the place ransacked with all my jewelry and clothes stolen, and to find you face down in your own puke, butt naked on the bedroom floor! Jay, I wonder what this means. Oh, I think we know. And the only thing the bitch left, was that stupid bug trophy that you praised so much. Well, you know what, Bob? Let's put that in a safe place where no one would ever go to find it. Oh, yeah, here you go, Bob. Since you're wide open anyway, here's your bug statue. Safely shoved where the sun will never shine.
Little did she, or even I, knew at the time, but that bug trophy was more than it seemed, as we would discover as you removed it from my rectum, Smedley. Yeah, I don't need to recall that. Anyway, it turns out that the bug trophy, an heirloom from my father, contained a scarab that was, in reality, an ancient artifact that my father had discovered on a archaeological field trip during his college days, and turned out to be a mystic scarab, possibly of alien origin, that granted him superpowers, enabling him to become the original Crimson Cicada. Gave him the powers of flight and super strength. But upon inadvertent insertion into my rectum, the scarab apparently activated and granted me the bug-like powers of the ability to climb walls, give off a cicada call sonic thing, and also my ability to communicate and understand the language of insects. I can only guess as to the reason why my powers were so different from the ones my father employed, is that he wore the scarab on his belt and it granted him the powers, whereas my having the scarab, shoved up your ass, yeah, I know, yeah, must have had some impact on the different abilities that I have. Of course, I've had to use my technical wizardry to accommodate certain powers, of course, the bugmobile and stuff like that. Because, again, I don't have the power of flight or super strength that my father did in his days, which I only discovered after all of this and found his secret stash of the Crimson Cicada costume and what have you. But, anyway, since I was clearly a victim of crime, it set me on the course of my true legacy and destiny of fighting crime as the new Crimson Cicada that, for some dumb reason, everyone calls me Bugman, and well, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I done told you got a big-ass bug on your shirt, you got antenna coming out your head, and you climb walls and you talk to bugs. That's got Bugman written all over it.
Well, a man's fate and destiny should be dictated more accordance to legacy rather than a consensus of a bunch of... What the hell?
I don't know. Sounds like people are panicking. There's something going on outside.
Citizens of Gothic City, behold the dawn of the Golden Reign.
Oh my God. That giant Zeppelin is spraying some crap on the people in the street.
Yes, it appears to be some sort of yellow liquid. Clearly, this is an attack of...
Oh man, don't say it. Don't say it.
golden showers.
Oh man. Oh no. From one extreme to the other. A disgusting orange entail and now an even equally disgusting assault on the city. How will Bugman overcome this threat? Find out the next exciting episode of Bugman. Bugman was written, produced, and performed by me, Douglas Nailsin. Music came courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and other public domain sources. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Sex toy thief caught pink-handed. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. As police were busting him, a small pink vibrator fell out of the pants of a Florida man suspected of stealing an assortment of sexual aids from a Target store. Yeah. Responding to a larceny call, cops confronted David Romero, 46, as he sat in his Dodge Ram near the Target in Palm Coast, a city about 25 miles of Daytona Beach. While the handcuffed Romero was being placed in the rear of a police cruiser, a small pink vibrator fell out of his pants. This item was later revealed to have been stolen from Target. A subsequent search of Romero's truck turned up an assortment of other stolen goods, including Trojan and Skin condoms, Hello Cake lubricant, and Promescent, a Climax control spray. A Target loss prevention officer told cops that Romero hid the items in a piece of shapewear that he did not scan at the self-checkout line. When asked about the Target merchandise found in his truck, Romero claimed that the items had been in his vehicle for days. Police added that Romero further stated that he was going to use those items today on his wife because he was working all day yesterday and could not celebrate Father's Day with her. Romero, who lives 8 miles from the Target store, was charged with a misdemeanor for allegedly swiping goods worth $187.23. Romero is being held in the Flagler County Jail in lieu of $3,000 bond. In addition to the Target matter, Romero is facing 2 other pending theft cases, one of which involves 5 separate shoplifting incidents at a Walmart in Palm Coast. No word on what type of toys those items were.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. The views and opinions expressed during the Mr. Nailsin Show do not necessarily reflect those held by RadioMisfits.com. So, any complaints and or comments should be sent to @MrNailsin on Twitter, where they will be promptly ignored and or blocked.
It's almost there. Oh, no, we got 2 minutes. Oh, wow. Shit, that's plenty of time.
Oh, fuck. Now what are we going to do? We did all the plugs up front. That's something. That's a good host right there. Like, do all that shit right up at the top instead of like
just
at the end when everybody's already shut the shit off. Not on your show, of course, but on mine.